Okay, we're back here for part 2 of being able to graph a parabola in vertex form. And so the first thing we learned we're going to be able to identify the vertex, and that's why they call it vertex form. And so it's the opposite of h and then the k values. So here we have -2, 3 is our vertex. Now once you identify that -2, remember I want you to find 5 domain values so that you're able to plot some points on the coordinate plane to draw your curve. And I want you to understand how this function is working. This parabola is going to move along the coordinate plane based on where the vertex is, these numbers right here. So let's take a look at another example. We have -2, which would shift it 2 units to the right, because remember it's the opposite of h. And then the 7 at the end of the function is going to shift it 7 units up. Remember, when we slide things around, that's called a translation in math. So that means it would translate 7 units upwards. And here it would translate 2 units to the right. So let's go ahead and look at the graph of a function. Let me help you see visually what I'm talking about. You know, this function here is your basic function. And what happens when this a value becomes bigger than 1, do you remember what will happen? Yeah, it makes it skinnier. And if it's between 0 and 1, it makes it wider. And if it becomes less than 1, what will happen? If it becomes a negative number in the front, if it's negative, it's going to turn upside down, it's going to invert, and you'll have a parabola that opens downwards. Okay, and your h here is going to move it horizontally, and the k value is going to move it vertically. See how as the k value increases, the parabola is moving and translating up vertically. And I could move it to the negative. And then that would make it move down instead of up. All right, so let's look at the example we just had here. So I typed this into a graphing calculator already. The 4 made it skinnier. The -2 made it move 2 units to the right, had the vertex move 2 units to the right. And then the 7 moved 7 units upwards, okay, or 7 units vertically. So once you know where your vertex is, then you can pick some other x values to be able to find some other points along this curve here. But you need to be able to find your vertex first. Okay, let's see what happens if I put -9. I moved it 9 units to the right. But if I put +9, it'll go in the opposite direction and move it 9 units to the left. The 7, let's say it's a 2. So it moves 2. And this k value is always exactly whatever you have here, -2. Now it's 2 units less than 0. Okay, let's go back here. Let's put this at 0. So we're right on the y-axis, and you can see how this -2 right there moved it vertically down 2 spaces. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, let's say you have a negative, so that makes it open downwards. A 1/2 is between 0 and 1, so it makes it wider. The 1 is going to make it shift 1 to the left, and the -3 is going to make it shift downwards 1. So let's plug this in and take a look at what your graph will look like. So -0.5 plus 1 minus 3. That's right. Let me just double check. Yep. Okay, so where'd it go? There it is. Down 3, 1 to the left, down 3, so there's your vertex. Now once you figure that out, you know that you can put in 0 to find another value. You can put in 1, -1, -2, and -3. And then draw a curve through those points that are on here. Okay, good luck graphing parabolas in vertex form, and hopefully you learned a little bit about how it works. Thanks.